Hi everybody! Welcome to another week of Makers Monday. I am Anastasia Radloff, aka Stampin' Blondie, and I'm excited to show you today two projects featuring the Hues of Happiness Suite. Now this is probably my favorite suite from the entire new annual catalog. It's bright, bold, and I'm excited to show you these projects and how simple they are to create. Now let me just make sure that I'm live here on Facebook. If I'm live, make sure to comment, say hi, let me know where you're joining me from. It's always fun to see where everybody is joining me each week. All right, looks like I am good to go. All right, if you're watching this via replay here on Facebook or on my YouTube page, or if you're live on my YouTube page, make sure to comment and let me know that you were able to join me this week as well. I hope you guys all had an amazing weekend. My weekend was full of class prep. On Friday night, I finished up prep for my club Craft and Create. We have our in-person class tomorrow, and then the virtual class is on Wednesday night. And then I also finished up my in-color club prep as well, so I'm excited to get those packets out for the first month. So looks like we've got a great group today. Hi Carmen, I hope you're having fun in Hawaii. I am loving all of your pictures and I'm so jealous. I've always wanted to go to Hawaii. Hi Veronica, hi Becky, hi Marcia. Thank you everybody for joining me this week. Now, like I mentioned, today we're going to create two projects with the Hues of Happiness Suite. This includes a coordinating stamp set and die bundle with designer series paper and some gems. So let's go ahead and swap the camera before I go into some, I just have one announcement today actually, that's it. Quick and easy, so let's go ahead and swap the camera and there we go. So the only announcement that I have today, let me grab the paper, is don't forget our in-color starter kit. So our starter kit is the best deal in our entire catalog. You choose $125 of whatever products you want for $99. There's free shipping. And then until the end of May, you get to add on a $66 in-color bundle for free. Now this includes all of the new in-color ink pads such as Orchid Oasis, Starry Sky, Parakeet Party, Tahitian Tide, and Sweet Sorbet. You also receive some of the cardstock, a full package of the 6x6 designer series paper, and also some in-color grid paper. Now, if your wish list is over $99 from the new catalog, this is the best offer. The Stampin' Blondie team offers a fun and exciting way to be able to join Stampin' Up! With no pressure to sell, teach classes, host events, or even go on Facebook Live. So we welcome all demonstrators, from those that are happy shoppers and just want the discount for themselves, all the way to those that are wanting to build a crafting empire. So if you have any questions about the starter kit, like I mentioned, this runs until May 31st, so you have 2 weeks from tomorrow to be able to take advantage of this. This is the best way to get all of those new in-color goodies at a discount. And we have a great team. We do some fun card swapping. We have virtual team gatherings and in person if you're here in Tucson. So no matter where you live in the United States, you can join us. Okay, our projects today are featuring the Hues of Happiness bundle. Now this is found on page 108 and 109 of the annual catalog. This is an entire 2-page spread of this suite, and the first thing that caught my eye is how bright and bold the designer series paper is. Now, if you follow along with my projects, I don't tend to do too many floral projects. They just aren't my thing. But this stamp set caught my eye because of that bright and bold designer series paper. So here is the Hues of Happiness 12x12 designer series paper. Now the best part about this is it's a little hard to show all of the papers because some of them are ombre. So like these two images here, they start off with some coat, like here, I'll show you. here's one of the papers we're gonna use today. So it starts off at Coastal Cabana, it goes over to Night of Navy, then to Gorgeous Grape, and then it ends with Fresh Freesia. Now there's also a coordinating piece of paper that starts off with Daffodil Delight, and then it goes to Mango Melody, Melon Mambo, and Flirty Flamingo. So it's kind of hard to showcase all of this when you have a 2" by 2" square of designer series paper. But one of these papers, and I think it's this one right here, the entire back is a canvas painting that looks like a rainbow ombre. So it starts off at pink and goes all the way to Gorgeous Grape. So this designer series paper also coordinates with our stamp set and dies. So the Happiness Abounds stamp set and the Blossoming Happiness dies. The dies in here do cut out the designer series paper, and we are going to be doing some of that today. The Happiness Abounds stamp set is also coordinating with the dies, so you can stamp and die cut, or you can die cut the designer series paper, and they all coordinate with each other. This designer series paper is 12 by 12, and it features a plethora of different colors that are bright and fun for some floral projects that we're going to create today. Now our two projects that we are going to work on, oh, there's one more thing I did forget. I'm not going to be using these on our projects today. I'm going to be using a different embellishment, but these glossy dot assortments coordinate with this bundle as well. So we have the entire suite, which is in the upper left-hand corner here. A suite means there's one item number for the paper, the stamp set, the dies, and the dots. So you can just do one item number and add them all to your cart, or you can do individual as well. So the Glossy Dots assortment have a holographic look to them, and so these will be, these were our Prize Patrol I gave these away last week, but these are part of the bundle as well, or the suite. Now Prize Patrol for this last week was a package of the Pumpkin Pie Stampin' Blends. So these Stampin' Blends come in a dark and light, and our winner for last week's Prize Patrol was Pam Simmons. Now I'm not sure if she's on here, I don't see her, but I know she watches every week. So thank you, Pam, for watching, and you are the winner of our Prize Patrol from last week. Now this week's Prize Patrol is something super cute. These are, and it's decorated too. These are the Ladybug trinkets, and if you have the Ladybug punch and stamp set, these go perfect with that. So these Ladybug trinkets are flat on one side, so you can add them on with a mini glue dot, and they just coordinate with all of our projects, and you can actually use them with these floral images as well to add a little ladybug on there. So here is our Prize Patrol for this week, the Ladybug trinkets with this fun little decorative ladybug piece there. So, okay, Hues of Happiness. Now before I show you our projects we're going to work on today, I have some other examples that I created recently with this stamp set. So here's the first one, quick, easy stamping. We have coloring in with Stampin' Blends. I just used the designer series paper, a quick sentiment, and this is the perfect easy card to create if you're on the go and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't have a card ready to go. You can easily put this together in less than 5 minutes. So there's our first one. We're gonna kind of work up from like simple all the way to extravagant. So here's the second project. This features the 6x6 glimmer paper for our new in colors. This is actually Orchid Oasis with Starry Sky glimmer paper. Again, I just stamped the floral images on here, added a sentiment in Orchid Oasis for both of those. Again, another quick and simple project that you can put together really, really fast if you need a card. Now, over the top, if you have way more time to spend on creating a project, there is this one as well. Now this is a booklet card. Oh, there's all the dimensions. I did a tutorial on this, so there's all the dimensions. But here is the booklet card. You can see on the inside there's that strip of designer series paper, but all 3 of these flowers and stems are die cut from the designer series paper. The only thing on here that is stamped are these leaves and the sentiment. Everything else is die cut. So very, very intricate. If you like to die cut, there's a lot of die cutting on here, but I'm gonna also show you a trick today on one of our projects, the easiest way to put these kind of, let's call them a mural of die cuts together, and I'll show you a really easy way to put them together. So that is another project with our supplies. Now, this project right here on the front of our catalog features the Hues of Happiness designer series paper and the coordinating products. Now, one of our projects today may look very familiar because I used that to be part of an inspiration for my project here today. Now, while I'm not using the exact same supplies as the front page of the catalog, I still wanted to showcase the cool tones of the designer series paper that you can get from this. So it's kind of the same project, just with some cooler tones, but I'm going to show you how to create this one. And then our second one here uses some Stampin' Blends, this really intricate die that is in that die set, and then some of our designer series paper here. All right, let's go ahead and jump in. Don't forget, as always, on my website, each Monday morning, I post it at 6 a.m. It is our project PDF tutorial to coordinate with our Makers Mondays projects. Now, on here, you will find all of the item names, item numbers, prices, and then at the bottom, the dimensions of the 2 projects that we're gonna create today. So you can pair this with this video to create the Makers Mondays projects, and I would love to see what you create each week if you post them on the Create with Stampin' Blondie Facebook page. All right, let's go ahead and jump in. We are gonna work on this project here, and we're gonna do some die cutting, so it's gonna take a little longer, but it's worth it in the end, I promise. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do is we have a piece of basic white cardstock, 8.5 by 5.5. Again, all of the dimensions are found on that PDF tutorial. So I'm gonna take my bone folder and crisp up my line here. It's just gonna help the card lay flat as I work on my project here. Now I am using Night of Navy cardstock, and we're just gonna add this right to the card base, and I'm just gonna use my Stampin' Seal Plus for this part. Now, if you're not comfortable with Stampin' Seal, if you wanna use liquid glue, you can, but I don't need to worry about having any kind of wiggle room. I just wanna lay it right down onto my card base. Now here is that designer series paper, part of the canvas brush strokes. The other side is actually what we're gonna use to die cut our flowers at, but this is, again, just gonna go right in the middle of our card base too. So that's gonna go right there. Okay, couple of die cuts we're gonna do. Let me get out my designer series paper, and I'm gonna show you guys a little trick once we're done die cutting. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take our scissors, and these dies do fit into the mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And because of that, I just need to kind of cut around some of my images so that it'll fit through the machine. And we're just gonna pick some of these florals and leaves to work with. And we're gonna actually do this purple here. This is fresh freesia. And so we've got, we'll have to die cut that in 2 different parts because it's the same die for both of these. There we go. So we're gonna add our die on top first, and we're gonna use some washi tape on here. Washi tape is gonna hold our die down, and this one is a little bit hard to see exactly where it lines up at. So once I have it where I want it, that's not gonna work. I think I may have to cut another flower. Yeah, let's cut another flower out. We're gonna do a darker purple. This one's right in the middle here. Give me some more space around it for my dye. This paper is beautiful. I did not want to cut into it at first, but Designer Series paper is meant to be used, so you want to make sure you use it. Okay, so you just want to kind of wiggle your dye around until it fits the outside. Once you have it where you want it, just add little pieces of washi tape and that'll hold your dye in place when you run it through the machine. I'm also going to die cut this fern image. Now the die has this little, let's see, let me bring it up closer. It has this little circle at the end. That is so you can see the stem through the die to make sure that it's lined up. So you just want to make sure it's in place. If I'm out of camera, I just want to make sure I'm in the right spot. And then again, just a little bit of washi tape to hold that in place as well. And we'll die cut that leaf the second round. So we're gonna bring in our mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, lay down our die, both of our dies here, and we're gonna run this through the machine to die cut those two. The crunching noises is okay, it's just cutting your paper. And when you peel off your washi tape, you just want to be very careful because even though it's washi tape, it's not as sticky as normal, it can still rip your paper. So you just want to be very careful when you pull that off because it can still rip. So just be gentle when you pull that off, and you can reuse the washi tape over and over again until it loses its stickiness. All right, we have our first flower and our fern, and now we're gonna die cut this second flower. Make sure our image is going the right way with our washi tape. And then our big floral, or sorry, the fern. This one doesn't have that circle at the bottom because you don't really need to line that part up. You can see at the top where it's lined up. And one little piece of washi tape for that. And then we're gonna run that through. Crunching and cracking, you're good. I have found that using plate number 3, even though this is embossing folder plate, I have found that this works better for running it through the machine than the white plate. So if you have a mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine and you're noticing that maybe the white plate doesn't work very well, try your gray plate. I have found that works much better. All right, our second flower here, and then one last piece we're gonna die cut is we are gonna do this spiral bound edge here. So I just have a plain piece of basic white cardstock, and we're gonna take this long die and make sure the spiral's on the right side. We're gonna line it up with the edge of our piece of paper, and again, we're gonna washi tape that down. Washi tape has so many uses in our craft room, and I just love how easy it is to use. And again, you can use it over and over too, so that makes it even better. All right, and now we're gonna run this through our mini machine, and that is gonna give us that spiral bound look. All right, that can go off to the side for now. And then when we peel this off, again, slowly with the washi tape, we have that really fun spiral bound look. So very easy to create that image, and you can do so much with that as well. And we're gonna stamp now. Now on here, I used Granny Apple Green for my ink. So let me grab that, and we're using the floral image, or the fern image, that has kind of the same design as one that we die cut. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our Granny Apple Green and just stamp once going up and the second time going down. That's it. Very easy for stamping with that part. Okay, I'm gonna show you guys a really fun, easy technique on how to make sure all of your floral images are lined up exactly how you want them. So what we're gonna do is we are going to line it up on our paper first. We're gonna put our 2 flowers on here, tuck underneath our leaves, and 1 more set of leaves, let's say right there. Now, you have it exactly how you want it, but you don't want to mess it up. So this is where my fun friend Press and Seal comes in. Now, who has ever used Press and Seal in crafting? You would not think that this would be good for crafts, but it's perfect. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna just take a small piece of Press and Seal with the sticky side down. Now, Press and Seal isn't really like sticky. It just has a little bit of tackiness to it. So you're gonna put that over your floral and just kind of run it over here. And so your floral images are gonna stick to your paper. Now you're gonna flip that over and just gently peel off your piece, and voila, you have all your pieces exactly where you want them, and now you can kind of put them together from the back side. So what I like to do is I like to take my Scotch tape, because nobody's gonna see the back of this, and this is gonna hold all those pieces together right where you want them. Now once you have them kind of all taped, you can then flip it over and gently peel off the Press and Seal. And there you go, your floral is exactly how you want it. And then you can add it right to your card all as one piece. Now the best part of Press and Seal is that it's reusable. So you can keep this piece, reuse it over and over until it loses its tacky, and then you can just get another piece. So very simple, very easy to be able to put together multiple images like this, and it's stuck exactly how you want it, and you don't have to worry about anything moving around in placement. Now on here, I'm gonna flip this over my stamped spiral bound, and I'm gonna add this to my card base first. And this is just gonna be with liquid glue. I'm gonna use liquid glue on here just in case I get any glue on that spiral bound. I can easily wipe it off. And that's gonna go right in the middle of our card base. Now we're gonna take our Press and Sealed flowers with our Scotch tape on the back, and we're gonna add Stampin' Dimensionals to this. Now since everything is already taped up together, you can just add your dimensionals and you don't have to worry about it coming apart. So think of getting some Press and Seal. It's a really easy technique to be able to add all of your pieces at once, and they're exactly where you want them. You don't have to worry about it moving all over the place as you work with the pieces. Okay, we've got our Stampin' Dimensionals on the back of our die cut piece. I'm just gonna peel all that out, and all at once you can put that right onto your card exactly where you need it. So quick and easy tip, very, very easy to be able to put that together. All right, the last bit I have is our sentiment. This says, "You are wonderful in every way." And for this, we are using Fresh Freesia ink. Now, because I switched the color of my floral images here, I am gonna do, let's see, we're gonna do a Coastal Cabana instead of Fresh Freesia, just because I don't have Fresh Freesia on my card anymore. So the Press and Seal is such a easy way, and I mean, those rolls last you forever. I think we've had that one for years, and maybe not years, but maybe a year. But it's easy, and I just keep it in my kitchen so it doesn't take up spot in my craft room. All right, our sentiment now. So I used Coastal Cabana because I swapped out the colors. And this side, we're gonna just add a little bit of multi-purpose liquid glue. It's gonna go right over our flowers here. And then as a final embellishment, I am using the new Iridescent Pearls Basic Jewels. Now these are found on our first page of embellishments in the new annual catalog, and they're a little different than our regular pearls as they do have kind of like an iridescent covering to them. I don't know if you guys can see that coming through on the camera, but they're very pretty. They have a subtle iridescent to them, so they're not like in your face with that. And I'm just gonna take my Take Your Pick tool with the spatula end, and we're gonna put 3 of these. So they come in 2 different sizes. We have the larger and small. I'm using 3 of the larger pearls right onto the card. So here is our first project using the Hues of Happiness stamp set, Happiness Abounds stamp set, and the Hues of Happiness Designer Series paper. So that was a play on the front of our annual catalog. So here is the original project, and here is my project. Same concept. Our annual catalog is an amazing way to get project ideas, and then you can easily create them your own once you get working with the supplies. So I hope you guys like this first project. Let me know in the comments what you think. And look, even the 2 different color flower images make it very, very pretty as well. Okay, let's get Coastal Cabana out of here. Next, we are gonna work on this Melon Mambo card. So this is a really fun card with this intricate die that comes in the die set. So it has this really intricate die. So we're gonna use that one. Let's get some of the stuff out of the way here. All right, so we have a piece of Melon Mambo cardstock, 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. Remember, all the dimensions for these projects can be found on that free PDF tutorial that's on my website, stampinblondie.com. Posted at 6 a.m. every Monday. So there we go. Okay, the first thing, I have 2 pieces of Designer Series paper. Here is that one piece of Designer Series paper that I was telling you about that has like that canvas look to it, and then it goes all the way. Here's the other side. You can see it goes, there's like Granny Apple Green in the middle, but it goes all the way of the whole color family there. Now these are 2 different sizes of Designer Series paper, so if you're making this project, just make sure you're using the right size for the different parts. The smaller size of Designer Series paper, this is 4 by 2. This one is gonna go in the lower right-hand corner of our card first. So we're going to put that on right down there. Now our second part, we have actually 2 pieces. So we have a basic white cardstock and the second piece of Designer Series paper. They are the exact same size. So the first thing we are gonna do is we are gonna bring in our mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine one last time. And with that intricate die, now I showed you how to use press and seal for the first project. We're gonna use another kitchen tool. We're gonna use wax paper for this one. So make sure to raid your foil cabinet, but wax paper is great with these really intricate dies. It helps all those little pieces not stick into your paper. All right, so we've got our base plate, our clear plate. We've got our piece of basic white cardstock. We're gonna use our, let's bring that up a little further, our wax paper on top of that. And then our die is gonna go on top of the wax paper. Now you don't have to worry, it's not gonna make your die waxy or anything like that. It just helps it not, all these little pieces stick into the paper, and it helps it release from the die just a little bit easier. So we used press and seal one way and wax paper the other. So we're gonna die cut that. I'm gonna run it through one more time just to make sure it got everything cut here. All right, no more die cutting today. We are good there. So let's pull all this out, get our plates out of the way, and you guys can see it just pops right out. And there's a couple little pieces, but it doesn't stick into the die at all with your wax paper. So you can just peel that up and you can just kind of punch all these little pieces out. Now, the die is not meant to cut every single piece out. You can see some of it is just embossed. So it won't punch all these little pieces out because some of them are meant to be embossed. And you can use your take your pick tool to poke out the little pieces, but I'm just gonna run my fingers over it and get all the little pieces out that are supposed to be cut out. And that's it. It's pretty easy. It doesn't stick. And then you can kind of throw that away. Get out your desktop vacuum and pick up all the little pieces. I love this thing. I got this for Christmas 2 years ago and it has been amazing. It's called a desktop vacuum cleaner. It's from Amazon, so if you just search it on Amazon, you can find one. And there's a bunch of different varieties too. Okay, so with that ombre piece of designer series paper, we're gonna add our die cut piece on top, so you'll be able to see some of those pieces and the colors poke through. I'm gonna use liquid glue on this, and you just need a really thin layer. You don't want a ton of glue. You just want where those bigger spaces of white are. If you add too much glue, it's gonna ooze through the little die cuts, and you don't want that. So the best way to do this is to just kind of hold it in your hand, and with the liquid glue, you have a couple seconds to move the paper around exactly where you want it. All right, bring our sample back in, and then this is gonna go right on top in the upper left-hand corner of our Melon Mambo cardstock. So we're gonna add that with liquid glue, and that'll go right there. All right, so I already pre-die cut 2 pieces. Now these are the new Stylish Shapes dies. It comes with circles, squares, and then these really fun banners that all have a stitched look to the die cut. I hope you guys can see those little dots on the outside. So these Stylish Shapes dies don't actually coordinate with any specific stamp set in our catalog. They are a great die set for those that are looking for an overall set that works with a ton of different stamp sets. If you are a new stamper and you're looking to add to your collection of dies for something that works for a multitude of stamp sets and sentiments, the Stylish Shapes dies are, this is my #1 die set that I love in the new catalog. So Stylish Shapes. And what we're going to do is I need to grab a piece of basic white cardstock. Got one right here. We are gonna die or stamp our floral image on that, and we're gonna do some coloring with Stampin' Blends. So I'm gonna bring in my piece of grid paper because we're going to be doing some Stampin' Blends coloring. Now I shared on my page this past week about the best way to determine which black to use with different coloring mediums. So we have the Tuxedo Black Memento ink, which is what I used, and this die has no scent to it. Now our Stampin' Blends, which I'm going to use here, are alcohol-based ink markers, and because they're alcohol-based, they do have a specific scent to them. They also are how you can remember what to use with what. So we have non-stinky ink, which is our Memento ink. It has no scent to it. That is what you use with stinky markers. If you are using watercolor pencils, pencils have no scent to them, and you'll want to use StazOn ink for those. So stinky ink, which is StazOn, with non-stinky medium watercolor pencils. So that's how I remember which medium or black to use with whichever I'm coloring in. So that's just a little tip that I remember to do things. All right, we're gonna color in our floral image, and we're going to use our Stampin' Blends. So I'm just gonna work with, oh, this is dark. I want to start with light Melon Mambo, and we're just gonna quickly color in the flower. And I also did some highlighting with Flirty Flamingo. So we'll be coloring in Flirty Flamingo as well in specific spots here. Make sure I get those spots. Don't color them with Melon Mambo in here. Yes, this is such a great set. I love how it's fun to color. You can color, or if you don't feel like coloring, you can use your dies to cut out those floral images. Sometimes I just don't want to color, and then the dies work great because the coloring is already done on them. So I'm just coming in, I'm just quickly coloring this, so it's not going to be professional like the sample, but I am just quickly coloring in with our light Melon Mambo Stampin' Blend. They come in a combo pack of light and dark. And then we're gonna come in with our Flirty Flamingo and just kind of color in certain spots here as well. Now I didn't color in the middle there. We can just add some Flirty Flamingo. It doesn't really matter. It's gonna be covered up by those pearls anyways. So you can color it in if you want for that. Now for the leaf here, we are going to use light Granny Apple Green, and we're going to color in, oh, I'm going to use the tip side. We're going to color this in here, and then we're going to come in with the dark and do a highlight of our dark. Oh, I need new Granny Apple Green markers. And then we'll just kind of come in and do a little dark highlight on there. And you can kind of blend it out a little bit if you want. So Stampin' Blends are meant to be blended together. There's a dark and a light marker. So you can use them however you like. Dark first, light first, whichever you prefer. All right, we're gonna die cut these. So again, with the washi tape to hold it into place. With our flower here. I found the hardest part of this die is making sure, it's kind of hard to, you have to rotate it and keep rotating it until it lines up exactly how you want it. All right, we are done with our grid paper, but you can see with Stampin' Blends, you definitely want to make sure your workspace is covered because they can bleed through your paper, and you just want to make sure that your workspace is covered when using Stampin' Blends. Okay, run our dies through our mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. There we go. And there we go. So very easy to die cut these out, and like I said, they work great with that mini machine. My washi tape is now dead. There we go. All right, now to assemble and stamp our sentiment. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna add our circle right to our card base, and this is gonna be with Stampin' Dimensionals. I've got some black dimensionals that I'm using up before I move on to the packages of white that I got. Stampin' Up had, I guess, a run on dimensionals because there was no white dimensionals available for a while. So I used the black ones. Doesn't matter, it doesn't show through your white cardstock, so you can use black or white dimensionals on your projects. And that's gonna go right there. When will they have the magnetic plate for the mini machine? So Linda, I have not heard anything about that yet. I know that it's not available as of right now. Only the large size is available, but they have not released when the mini magnetic plate will be out just yet. I'm waiting for it though. As soon as it's available, it'll be on my list. I have the big one. I just need to get the little one when that comes out. All right, we're gonna stamp our sentiment here in Melon Mambo. Best wishes. And that is gonna go, again with Stampin' Dimensionals, but we're only gonna put them, make sure I put it on the right side. We're only gonna put dimensionals on this half. We don't want it to be over here. It would be uneven because we already have our circle dimensionaled, and if we add a piece over here, it would be like 2 layers of dimensionals. So we only are gonna put dimensionals on 1/2 here, and that's just gonna go kind of right there. Our floral image is gonna have more dimensionals. Again, this project is full of dimensionals. Don't forget to use the outlying parts of your dimensional sheet because they work perfect. But before I adhere my floral image down, I'm gonna add my leaf to the back, right where I want it, kind of flip it over and add a little piece of Scotch tape. Oh, that's too big. I need to cut this in half for it to fit. So the Scotch tape will hold that leaf in place because that is not dimensionaled up. So we're just gonna put that right there. Okay, now the final touch on this, we're gonna come back in with those iridescent pearl jewels. I love these. They're just, like I mentioned earlier, they have just a little bit of iridescent to them. It's not overpowering. And we're gonna add one small one to the middle, and then we're just gonna add 4 around the outside. So like I mentioned earlier, that spot that I had missed coloring, it's okay because you wouldn't see it anyways. It's gonna be covered up. Actually, this one may need 5 rhinestones around it. Yeah, let's do 5. There we go. Oh, get in there. There we go. So that is our second project featuring the Happiness Abound stamp set and the Hues of Happiness Designer Series paper. So let me bring in both projects that we worked on today and let me know which one is your favorite in the comments. I have to say, even though I love, love, love pink, I have to say the blue one is my favorite this week. I love the spiral bound die, how easy it was to die cut those florals and not have to color them. And then using that press and seal really helped keep the images together where it was very easy to put them onto my card. So let me know in the comments down below which one is your favorite. I hope you enjoyed these projects here today. All right, well, thank you everybody for joining me for another week of Makers Monday. Now, I just wanted to give you guys kind of a heads up about Makers Monday schedules coming up. So next week, I will be having a Makers Monday, so make sure to tune in for that. But in 2 weeks from today is Memorial Day. I have family coming in for my husband's military promotion, which is the day after Memorial Day. So I will not be available for Makers Monday on Memorial Day. Now, the Monday after that, I will not be available as well. I will be on vacation in Tennessee. So for next week, we will be having a Makers Monday, but the following 2 weeks after that, I will be unavailable for Makers Monday. I will be posting videos of other items that are fun to share as well, and I may be popping in live here and there along the way. So make sure to check out my page for that. I hope you all have an amazing week, and